Hello, I'm Grin, and welcome to December. That's right, folks, it's the Christmas season again, which means it's time for me to play some random Christmas-themed Flash games. Oh, and how random they are. I quite literally just googled Christmas browser games and chose the first website that came up and started clicking ones that looked at least promising, but alas, they unfortunately were not. That's right, folks, this video is a bit of a Christmas train wreck. The Polar Express has been derailed and there were no survivors, so let's get down to looking at the first of the three games that I went and looked at. It's Christmas Boulder, a game in which you, presumably Santa Claus, throw snowballs at elves, but not at cute little animals. The game is a completely brainless arcade-style shooter, which are almost always boring and even worse so when you have to use a mouse for it. This game ain't no time splitters, the background stays the same throughout the entire thing, there's no levels, just the one stage that slowly gets faster and faster, and the enemies, well, they're all just little elves and there's no variety. I guess the only positive thing I really have to say about this game is it at least runs smoothly, and it's also kind of nice that you're not shooting the elves, but instead just having a wholesome little snowball fight. I mean, considering that there are so many games in which Santa Claus is going on a rampage, it's kind of nice that this one chose to go for the less violent route. Though, unfortunately, the wholesome nature of the game is not enough to make the game worth playing for more than 1 minute, not enough to make the game something I would play for a second time, and definitely not enough to make the game actually something I would recommend to people. And so, let's move straight along. This next game is Christmas Magic Santa 2, the long-awaited sequel to Christmas Magic Santa 1. Presumably, and I think the blurb of the game says it all. This Christmas, Santa wanted to do something different, he wanted to do some magic in Christmas Day. Which, you know, you definitely can't say that it doesn't have a compelling storyline. And so what is the game? Well, rather simply, you control Santa Claus making some cocktails out of random assorted Christmas things, and depending on what you put in it, depends on what end screen you get in the game. More often than not, I found that Santa Claus would explode and run towards the screen on fire with a low frame rate, but you can also choose to observe some recipes, and then different things happen. It's not a good game, the gameplay itself is barely existent, and the end screens are less than satisfying. I think the game could have maybe worked if the end screens were more interesting, and if what you put in the recipe had a bit more of a direct correlation with the end screen you get, then maybe, just maybe, it could have worked. But instead, it just feels like you're mixing together random ingredients and seeing a non-related image, and the images themselves are just not that interesting. I mean, let's be honest, the only reason you would play a game this bare bones is if what you were getting at the end was funny enough to continue going, but without any humour in the game, it's really just a hard pass, so let's move straight along to the third game. It's yet another remake of Angry Birds, which itself was a remake of earlier games with a lazy Christmas theme and terrible lag. Let's move on. Actually, before I move on, I just want to point out how funny the "it's a free game, you can't complain too much" argument is, when on either side of the game is being advertised Fortnite, a far superior free-to-play game. I mean, in a world in which games like Fortnite are free-to-play, can you really use "it's free, you can't complain it's bad" as an argument in defense? And so, let's move straight along to the final game, Tucky's Christmas. It's a side-scrolling platformer with rather cute graphics, and overall, I definitely dig the aesthetic. Though unfortunately, the frame rate is so bad and the lag is so terrible that it's literally unplayable. There's really no reason this should be the case. This computer is an editing computer and it can handle editing software, so there's really no reason that this should be the case, and I've played full-blown 3D non-independent games on this computer also without it being an issue, so I don't know why all of the games had a bit of a lag to them, and thinking back to it, it also happened last year, so in reflection, I probably do know why all of the games had a bit of a lag to them, and it's because, unfortunately, Flash is pretty much dead. Which means this may well be the end of a long-running tradition. If I literally can't play Flash games anymore because Flash is so unstable and unsupported that you really can't play them, there's no reason I should be reviewing Flash games on this channel. And so I suppose, tune in next week, and instead, we'll have a look at what Steam has. And finally, with all of that said and done, thanks for watching, and until next time, I have been and still am Grim Grindle. If you'd like to follow me on social media, a link to my Twitter is in the description below, or if you'd like to join the Channel Grim and Grin Discord, the Echo Chamber, a link to that is also available.
Double kill!